It's nice to have you with us on this Thursday. Open phones this hour, 989-752-6111. Next hour, we're going to learn about an organization called United We Go, and at 11 o'clock, we'll have some more open phones. So it's pretty much an open day today. Give us a call, chat about anything you like. I want to start out, just touch on this for a minute. I don't want to dwell on it. Last night, the president addressed the nation about the Iran situation. On the one hand, I'm happy he did address the nation. I think he probably should have done it when it all started. But on the other hand, I don't think he said anything to change any minds. What I mean by that is much of what we heard has been said before. We've heard it'll be over in 2 to 3 weeks. We've heard that before. And, we're going to attack and do this and that. There was really nothing new. And apparently the oil markets didn't like what they heard because oil shot up again. And the price of gasoline now averaging over $4 a gallon in the United States. So I'm curious. So I just wanted to mention that. That's all. I mean, I'm glad he talked to the nation, but I really don't think he said anything new that anybody didn't know. I'm curious, though, how has the price of gasoline altered the way you live? There was a USA Today article about that. The headline was, "Outrageous. Sky-high gas prices are changing the way Americans live." Like myself, I have to admit it hasn't changed anything. It just costs me more money to fill up my car. But, other than that, my life goes on. I've had to do things. I have meetings to go to. I have work to come to. And I do it. Don't like it when I have to go to the pump and stick in $4 a gallon gas, but what are you going to do? Life has to go on. Now, that's, and does it cause you to cut back on other things? Well, I will say this, yes. It has caused me to be a little more cautious in the dollars I'm spending during the week. And being single with the loss of my wife a few years ago, I don't cook a lot at home, so I'm eating out more. So I'm being a lot more careful when I eat out as to how much I spend. And I have found myself eating a little more at home. So, yeah, it does have some impact. But for the most part, life has to go on. Now, if you're retired and on a fixed income, obviously, it's going to have some severe impact on you. And I'm hoping that, as he said last night, 2 to 3 weeks, which everything is always 2 to 3 weeks with Donald Trump, I'm hoping this time he's right. Because I do believe that once the conflict ends, gas prices will come down. Oil prices on the world market will drop, and we'll see a return to more reasonable gas prices. I'm just not counting on it yet. So I'm just curious how the increase in the price of energy has affected you, other than obviously what it costs to fill up your car. So time will tell. The other thing, even though he said it's going to end 2 to 3 weeks, we really didn't hear the strategy of how it's going to end. So let's hope there is one. It's time we move on. And, there's also been talk, because of the cost of everything, that nasty word recession has come forward. Another headline off the internet is Is the U.S. headed for a recession? And here's how to prepare. And it starts out by talking about gas prices and all of that. But a number of prognosticators, Moody's Analytics and Oxford Economics, have raised their expectation of a recession. Moody's and Analytics says there's about a 49% chance. Oxford Economics a little lower, 30% chance. And they also say that if oil prices touch $140 a barrel, wow, that would add to it. Right now, Brent crude, the global oil benchmark, at $117 on the 31st. So the length of the war will have something to do whether there will be a recession or not. Because in a recession with high prices and high energy prices, demand goes down. And when demand goes down, unemployment goes up. And eventually can all lead to a recession. So mind your P's and Q's. And at the same time, what's interesting, and it's scary interesting, is the size of the credit card debt in this country. Trillions. I mean, it's unbelievable. And add the credit card debt to Americans, plus the government's debt of $39 trillion and more. You wonder how long that can last without having some kind of economic impact. Now, I'm not an economist. I don't know all the ins and outs of high finance and all that stuff. But I do know at some point in time you have to pay the piper. And if the piper doesn't feel like waiting, you're headed to bankruptcy. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But don't be surprised or shocked if it does. We're in that type of situation now. All right. We'll take a break. Lines are open for you at 989-752-6111 to participate in the program.
Rocket Grab Plus.
This is a test of the emergency.
All right. Back with you on the Art Lewis Show. Open line hour, so let's get to our phones. Up first, Carl in Saginaw. Good morning.
Good morning, Art. Getting back to Iran for a minute. If the president says we're going to get out in 2 or 3 weeks, then it sounds like we're not going to recover the enriched uranium, unless they do that really, really fast. And it sounds like the regime change, all we did was replace an 80-year-old Ayatollah with a 50-year-old Ayatollah who hates America. And if we leave...
Who by the way, we haven't seen yet.
Yeah. Yes. But there's no indication that whoever we're talking to is any less radical than, the people we've already killed.
Yep.
And if we leave and the Straits of Hormuz are effectively under control of Iran, that's going to be a real hard sell to say that we won the war.
I don't know about the regime change, but I don't think we'll leave until they don't have control of the straits. But that's me. I also,
Yeah.
when it came to the nuclear material, apparently the Pentagon, at the request of the president, has presented a plan on how to gain control of that material. But it would cause, I think, a lot of dissension in this country because, A, it would almost absolutely require boots on the ground. And B,
Yes.
once they're there, they'd have to build a runway for cargo planes to be able to land, to be able to take the material out. But it was all part of the plan. The president asked for it, and he got it.
Yeah, but that would take a long time.
I would
You know,
think.
bringing in heavy equipment
Yep,
to
that's
dig
right.
out all the.
Yeah, well, he
Yeah,
asked for a
so-
plan, and they gave him one. Whether he follows it or not, that's a
Yeah.
whole other story.
Yeah.
All right.
Art, I heard something kind of interesting. It was a discussion between a Vietnamese general and an American general after the Vietnam War. And the American general said, you know, we won every major battle in this war. And the Vietnamese general said, yes, but we won the war.
Yeah,
And
that's about what happened.
it's not always about, you know, how many enemy you kill or how many targets you blow up. It's, you know, if they have the will to fight for 10 years
It's
or 20
different.
years,
It's different in every conflict.
yes.
So,
But they
leave-
showed no signs
no.
of, you
Yep.
know, giving up. I think we might be just creating the next generation of terrorists right now.
All right.
You know? So,
Gotta run.
okay.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Thanks.
I do think, though, you know, the interesting thing to me with all the pronouncements is that, you know, we've destroyed over 90% of their capabilities for missiles, drones, all that stuff, yet they keep firing them. They must have them someplace that we haven't gotten to yet. And I know every time they fire one, we target that site after the fact. But it's just, I don't know. I said from the beginning, tell me the end game. How do you get out? And other than prognostications about time, I haven't heard the end game. So that's what frustrates me. Let's talk to Mark. Mark in Bay City. Good morning.
Good morning, Art. First of all, I want to wish you a happy Easter with the holiday coming up.
Thank you. And Passover, too. Don't forget that.
And Passover, too, absolutely.
Ecumenical.
Yeah, I want to take you off national news and get to local news. Maybe you can answer a question that me and many of my friends have wondered for a while, you or some of your listeners. They've been doing a lot of work at that Big Boy restaurant on Center Avenue in Bay City, the old Big Boy restaurant. And they put a lot of time into it for 6 months. They painted the ugliest, brightest green you've ever seen, but they have no sign in front and nobody knows what it's going to be. So if you or any of your listeners know, I'd appreciate letting us know.
Yeah, I had heard that it was sold, but I don't remember. It was sold to Beef-A-Roo.
That's what I heard too, but I have no
But
signs.
its status remains
Yeah,
uncertain.
yeah. They put a lot of time and money, and it's the brightest green you've ever seen.
Well, you know, a lot of that would worry me in terms of cannabis.
I know that's the
That's-
first thing we thought too, but they won't allow that in Hampton Township, so I don't think that's going to be what it is. But so if
Yeah.
anybody knows, I'd appreciate it. If you find out, put it on the radio.
Hang
Let me
on,
know.
Yeah, I don't see anything. Well,
Yeah,
it's a
check
good,
the internet and stuff. I didn't find anything on there,
it's a
but
good question.
yeah,
So let's see.
good. I
This one
stumped the
here's-
announcer here.
Yeah, hang on a sec. One more thing I'll look at here.
Okay.
See if nope. All right. Well, I know nothing about Beef-A-Roo, so who knows? Don't know. We'll ask. See if anybody else does.
Well, if not, we'll wait till it opens, and we'll all know.
Yeah, maybe. All
Well,
right.
you have a great holidays coming up.
Well, you too. Thanks, Mark. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Yep,
Bye.
bye bye. Yep, tomorrow, of course, Good Friday, Easter Sunday coming, and at the same time, it is Passover for the Jewish population, and it coincides with the Holy Week this year. As far as what's open tomorrow, most things are. Banks, for the most part, although you might want to call ahead because you never know. Banks open. All your mail will be delivered. The post office operates because it's technically not a federal holiday. Good Friday is not a federal holiday. UPS, FedEx will all be delivering. So life pretty much in terms of services available will be normal tomorrow. But just to be sure, you might want to call ahead if you have business in your local town or something like that. You might want to just check to see what's happening and make your plans accordingly. Also, tomorrow, opening day at Tiger Stadium. Tiger Stadium, wow. Comerica Park, friends. Haven't said Tiger Stadium in a long time. But it's opening day at Comerica Park tomorrow. I really had to question the scheduling because it's a 12:45 airtime, 1:05 game, I guess, tomorrow. And that's most businesses give, for example, their employees off from noon to 3 to go to church and take care of Good Friday. And, of course, it's still in Lent. I wonder why they scheduled an opening day game at the afternoon of Good Friday. Don't understand that one. Do not understand that at all. But it is what it is, and you will hear it here on WSGW beginning at 12:45 tomorrow, Good Friday, and let's hope it is a good Friday for the Tigers. They started out like a house on fire. 2 out of 3 from San Diego, and the first 2 games were blowouts. And then they went to Arizona and couldn't do anything. So let's hope they get back on track tomorrow and move forward with winning series. I always thought that's the best thing. If you're in a 3-game series, you take 2 out of 3 every series, you're going to do all right. You're going to have a good year. So let's hope they get back to that kind of track. They started out last year that way. They were winning series after series after series. Then the All-Star break came, and then, oops, it was all downhill from there. Hopefully it's a good year for the Tigers. All right, we're going to take a pause here. And lines are open for you, whatever you want to chat about at 989-752-6111.
We're proud to make.
And we return here on the Art Lewis Show with open phones this hour, and back to them. Joe is in Saginaw. Joe, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. I was wondering, when you were a kid, what was the cheapest you remember gasoline costing?
15 cents.
Well, it's interesting. I'll be 89 in a couple months, but I was my father's child, so I was the oldest of 5, and we always did the grocery shopping on Saturday mornings, and we went to a gas station on Gratiot Street called Sea Loco. It was sort of the local gasoline, like Total is known. Well, anyway, gas was 12 cents a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
And, you'd roll in there, and of course you didn't pump your own gas in those days.
Right.
And the attendant would bop out, and he would take your order, and we usually got $1 worth of gas when we went to the gas station.
Yeah, but you got to think of what that's worth today too. So
I know it, but I was just thinking the difference is.
It's funny. You brought it up, and when I thought about that, I said 15 cents is what I remember. But you know what I remember more than the gas? I remember the bottle of oil with its spout. That when you wanted oil, they filled up a bottle. You got a quart of oil in a bottle, It had a big
Yeah.
metal spout on it, and you took it out, you poured it in the car, or somebody else did for you, and you were on your
the
way.
thing was, at Siloco, when you pulled in there, if you ask them, they'd check your oil,
Yeah, absolutely.
and they'd also go around and check the tires to make sure they were all inflated.
Yep.
You know,
Full service.
full service. Yes. Quite
Long gone.
And the interesting thing about Siloco also was they had these punch cards, and if you got $1 worth of gas, they punched $1 off, and I forget what the cards cost. You had to buy $20 worth of gas probably over a period of time to get a card full, but then they had this whole window full of things, which were 1 or 2 cards or whatever. And,
Oh, yeah. Well, we
and
used to get, in the day, back in the early days of my life, we used to get S&H green stamps and stuff like that. And you,
well, yeah, but
save
this
the
was even
stamps.
before green
Yeah.
stamps and things.
Yeah, but I'm saying
But,
it wasn't unusual for the gas dealers to have some kind of competitive incentive to beat out their
Yes.
their opposition.
Yeah. Well, and the thing was, they had this whole window full, and it was mostly small appliances like electric percolators and toasters
Yeah,
and all that
yeah.
sort of thing, and sporting goods, fishing tackle and
Those were the days.
Yes,
Long gone.
long gone. but
Long gone. Well, good memories anyway.
yes, great memories. It's just a different way of life nowadays.
That's for sure, Joe. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Thanks for the memories. Take care. Yep.
You too. Bye
Bye-bye
now.
now. And we'll talk to Dan in Bay City. Dan, good morning.
Good morning. Well, I guess as we're reminiscing, I generally vote with the Democrats, but I voted for Ronald Reagan once and Bush Jr. there. So, I mean, I'm not,
Yeah,
way over there on that side. But, I remember when Republicans, they had things in their arsenal like free trade, and they also had in there that always was sort of states' rights. And they were always willing to meet. Like Tip O'Neill would meet with Reagan, and Gingrich would meet with Clinton, and they would work deals out, and they were, together on things. Not everything, but on things. So it was always nice.
we've become a little more fractured today than they were back then.
Well, and the problem is it's our Senate and the House. They are just, and this is both sides.
Yeah, it
They
is.
will not vary, and now they've allowed the president to do just anything he wants,
Yeah.
and there's no check on him from those two. And it's like,
I want to go back to something you said just for a minute here because I always chuckle when I hear it. You mentioned that one of the things in the Republican basket back then was free trade. And you're right. Yep, you were right. We were very good at negotiating free trade. Not so good in negotiating fair trade. But free trade we could do, but fair trade we didn't do so well. And thus all the agreements that we had that sucked jobs out of the United States because those agreements allowed it to happen, like NAFTA.
Well, it's still a Republican idea.
Oh, I didn't say it wasn't. I just said that it didn't, the unintended consequences. It was free trade without fair trade, and you can't have that. And so we've learned.
Well, our corporations were happy as hell when that happened
Yeah, of course.
because of that free, cheap labor.
Yep.
So and then they got
Well,
like,
but you know what though?
cut.
You know what? The American public was happy because they like to buy things cheap, and that's what's caused us to have this great deficit with places like China because we wanted everything cheap, and so we can't blame anybody but ourselves for that.
No, that's true, but they still have no they still have no need or want to put some checks and balance on this president. Then he goes and sits and kind of like.
Well, we are finding the checks and balances. The Supreme Court.
He went to the court.
Supreme
He went
Court.
to the Supreme Court and sat there and was like, what
Yeah, but you know
business
what?
is even going in there?
He's probably going to lose that one. In the same
Yeah,
way
he's
that
lost a lot of them.
he's lost a lot of them, and that's the checks. That's that's the checks and balance. So
He's got us in this war, and
Yeah.
like
okay,
they're all behind him on this. It's ridiculous.
who's all?
It's just so ridiculous.
All right. I don't know who all is, but yeah, not everybody's
Well,
behind
I
him on
think-
it.
Well, I think 70% of the country's not behind him.
Well, then not all. So you
Well,
said all.
I guess
It's not all.
Elections are coming.
Yep, they are, and that's where you pay it off. All right,
Yeah,
Dan, I
and-
got to run.
And
Got to
okay.
take a break. Take care.
care.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
All right, let me take a moment to talk about potholes. Yeah, I know. You don't want to hear about potholes. Well, guess what? You got to think about potholes because we live in Michigan and we have lots of potholes. And what enough potholes do to your car is knock it out of alignment, cause wheel and tire damage and suspension damage, things you should have checked. And our friends at Quick Lane Freeland are there to do just that for you. They are offering a complimentary alignment check. You drive in and ask for an alignment check, and they will check your alignment and your suspension and all of that and give you a report. Tell you what you need, if anything, or send you on your way with no charge. And if you want to know what alignment means to your car, I've asked John from Quick Lane Freeland to explain it.
If your vehicle's wheels are aligned correctly, it will not pull to the left or to the right when driving. It also prevents improper tread wear, so your tires last longer. A wheel alignment should be checked often because normal steering wear and tear can cause your alignment to go out in addition to potholes and railroad crossings. A correct alignment also reduces rolling resistance on your tires for better fuel mileage.
Thanks, John. Quick Lane Freeland with a complimentary alignment check. And remember, if you need tires, that's the place to get them because they sell all their tires at just $5 over cost. Visit them today. Quick Lane Freeland on the McDonald Ford property, all part of the McDonald Ford family, waiting for you in Freeland.
It could be the best years of...
Back to the phones we go on the Art Lewis Show. Jeff is in Bay City. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you today?
Doing well. Hope you are.
So, the checks and balances, there's so many different topics to talk about these days, supporting Trump for what's going on over in Iran. How many times would you let your neighbor continue to tell you he's going to beat you up until you decide to take him serious? That's been going on for 50 years. It devastates me and just upsets me as an American every time somebody stands in our streets because of freedom of speech and say death to America, from river to sea and all this other nonsense, but it's just disgusting. And now somebody finally does something about it. Now all of a sudden he's the bad guy, but you had all these presidents for years saying, hey, we should do something. We can't let this happen. Now somebody actually does something and, oh, he's the bad guy. Why would he do such a thing? This is so absurd. And then with the Senate, with what's going on right now and about certain parts of the government shut down, not funding, I wish Trump, and I just got done traveling, and if he would have did it last week, I would have been just as happy. I wish he would just stand up and shut all air flights down 100%. Send the people home, let them go collect unemployment, and then fine the senators roughly $500 a day because that's roughly what they make. They fine them $500 a day, and they get no pay because we've already paid them to do a job, and they never did it. They dropped the ball.
He doesn't have that power.
Yeah, to make the country a no-fly zone until we have enough people staffed working.
He doesn't have that power.
They don't have.
And he particularly doesn't have the power to fine the Senate and Congress.
Yeah, because we already paid them. You know, you or I, if we paid
listen,
somebody to clean our pool.
I've said, to me, one of the ways I would take care of this shutdown is to tell the senators and House members, you don't get paid until this is fixed, and no retro pay. But again, you can't do that from the presidential standpoint. That would have to come from Congress, actually. They'd have to find themselves.
No. Well, if you can't have enough people staffed to run the airport to keep it safe and secure, and our security is what's first and foremost. So I don't see why he couldn't shut it down, because you guys choose to shut that department down. These people are supposed to work without pay. No, we'll send them home. They can collect unemployment.
Well, what happens is the FAA, and we saw that recently, there have been some smaller airports have been shut down because they didn't have enough personnel. But it doesn't come from the president. It comes from the governing authority, which is the Federal Aviation Administration.
Yeah, because the Senate's first and foremost job is to balance the budget. And all you can do is keep kicking the budget down the road. Oh, we'll extend this. Well, no, do your job. Start doing your job. At first of any business is check and balance. And it's funny how they'll dog out the president, all this, that, but they don't want to say nothing about how Chuck Schumer and all them are using this as a political. It's basically a protest within the government.
Yeah.
They're not trying to do their job.
No, I understand it. I wish they'd get it done too, but it is the way government works, unfortunately. And the other side of it is it's all based. Why they can do it is because of the filibuster. But you have to remember, if you get rid of the filibuster for your cause,
it works for both sides. Exactly.
You hand it to the other side. So, all right.
All
good
right,
enough, Jeff.
You have a great Happy Easter.
Thanks.
May the good Lord bless you this whole weekend, sir.
Thank you. You too.
And beyond.
Appreciate it.
This weekend and beyond.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Have a good one. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right, our last caller is going to be Owen up in Beaverton. Owen, good morning.
Good morning. I just wanted to tell you that I like Chris Swanson or Mike Duggan for governor, because I think them two are right on line what we need, and I don't like Mike Kotz. I don't like that Perry guy.
It's going to be interesting. The race to watch for me is Duggan, running as an independent, but he comes out of Detroit popular. He has to get his name recognition in the rest of the state, but it's going to be interesting to see how well an independent can do. This could be a surprise. Who knows?
Well, I seen Chris Swanson all over the state campaigning. I haven't seen Perry or Mike Kotz even think about doing that yet.
Yeah, they're all. Johnson's running commercials like crazy. He's paying for them.
I know.
He's way ahead of the game on that, but he's got the money to do it. Chris Swanson has been out doing his thing. Benson's been out doing her thing. I just
want new blood in government. I don't want somebody.
Yep, I understand. Well, that's what comes time to vote. You got your choice,
And also for the federal government, if I had it my way, I'd lock them all down in Washington, D.C. until the government's reopened fully.
Yeah. Well,
that means nobody goes nowhere.
I've heard that before, too. Lock them in a room and don't let them out until it's settled. Bread and water.
No, I wouldn't lock them in a room. I'd just lock them in the White House where they can't even leave the White House.
Well, I wouldn't want to put them all in the White House. Too small for that. But lock them in the congressional chambers. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, I got to run because I'm out of time. Take care, Owen. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
We'll be back to close out this hour and tell you what's ahead.
Gotta go.
We'll do it for the first hour of the Art Lewis Show. Coming up, we're going to learn about an organization called United We Go. And Gina Ayana is here with us this morning to talk about it, and that'll happen right after the news. Of course, the news from CBS coming up next. They'll bring you up to date on the world and the nation. And it looks like Jonathan Dent's in the WSGW newsroom this morning. He'll fill you in on the region and the state. That's what's ahead. And then after the news, we'll be back with hour 2 of the Art Lewis Show to talk about United We Go.
Broadcasting from the